Hi, Deng.
Oh, hi. Yeah, actually, it's my morning. I just wake up.
What time? Where are you? Are you in New York?
Yeah, it's at
Okay.
noon.
Yeah. That's what I
So,
thought. Yeah, for
like,
some.
start at 1 is better for me.
Good. Yeah, because it's 1 o'clock there now, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Now, if you're listening, I'm talking to Deng Shiqing. I'm probably murdering that. How do you pronounce your surname, Deng?
Deng Shiqing.
Oh God.
It's good enough. It's okay. You can call me
I'll have another go. Tell me again, and I'll try it. Maybe slowly.
Deng Shiqing.
Dong Xin Ching.
Yeah, it's good enough.
Close enough. All right.
Yeah.
Good. In New York. And we're also a slightly different episode because we're joined as well by Hellas Wen. Because I asked Hellas if she would sit in on our chat and help Deng out with any Chinese English translation she might need. So hello, Hellas. Nice to see you again.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, John. Hello, Shiqing. Did I say that right?
Yes.
Okay, so you're having trouble with it too. Okay, it's not just me.
I wondered, I asked John what language, which dialect do you speak?
Mandarin.
哦，你好，你好，所以我今天要帮你做翻译。你有什么如果就是有觉得表达不太到位的地方，我可以帮你
好的。
就是算一下。
好的，谢谢。万一有问题我没明白，可以问。
对，因为我也是画画的，所以有一些可能专业的词汇我可以帮你一下。
好的，谢谢。
And am I right in calling you Deng? Because it seemed like a lot of people calling you Demo. Is that like a nickname or is that
my English name?
Oh, your English name is Demo. So what would you prefer me to call you?
Demo.
Demo. All right, good.
It's easier,
Demo.
simple, you know.
All right. Now, just to give you a time context for our conversation, if you're listening, today is Wednesday, the 15th of September, 2021. Now, Demo, for someone who is listening who hasn't seen your work, how would you describe it?
Weird, funny, figurative paintings.
All right. Weird, funny, figurative paintings. Okay. All right. There's a bit more to them than that if you're listening, but that's a good start. So we've had lots of questions come in for you on social media, so we'll just get into them. Michael Hyam in London says, who are your influences?
I think most of my influence is from the museum, like old masters. For example, like Van Dyck. I love Van Dyck's portrait. I think it's one of my favorite. And also,
sorry, all his portraits or just one in particular?
It's a old guy. I have a picture actually. I don't know what's that particular, but it's in my screen all the time on my iPad. That one.
Oh,
I think
okay.
in London in National Portrait Gallery, but I never went. I never see the original, but I just my favorite.
Okay, I don't know the name of that one. Do you know the name of that one, Hellas? No. Okay.
Yes, it's a very small piece, but I think it's his best work.
It's a little different work than the other work I see of him from him.
Yeah, because have a lot of texture in the head. It's pretty beautiful. Yeah, because I remember I copied that one when I was so young. So it's very memorable for me. It has huge influence because I studied art by copying old masterpieces from the art book. So because at that moment doesn't have like a good art teacher in my country, so it's the best way to learn, I think.
Right. Now you studied art in China, is that right?
Mm-hmm.
And so did you do these master copies before or like as you were studying?
Way before the
when
college.
What age were you when you started doing that?
High school, yeah.
Oh, okay. So were you drawing like from an early age?
Yeah. I started drawing like I couldn't even remember. Like a 12, I think.
Okay. All right. Okay. So like all the old masters or anyone else in particular?
Yeah. So many. Al Greco, I really love his work. I love work with mysteries, you know.
Mysterious work.
And he's
Okay.
doing like also have like distorted body figures, which I really like the style. And also I think my first favorite is Michelangelo. Yeah, it's very cliche, but it's just my favorite. I think he's just the best, especially for the figure drawing. I think it's my favorite. It's so good.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, all the Renaissance artists I love, like Botticelli and Bosch. Is that period? I forgot, but it's like way back before, you know.
Yeah.
But it's still with a lot of mysteries. It's not like very realistic, because before they want to paint very realistically, but for like technical reasons, or they don't have photograph those, so they see things from their observation, and they do their own in their own perspective. So, and also like the Bosch work is so imaginative, which I really admire, because even you see his work right now, it's still so creative. You don't feel like, oh, it's out of fashion or anything. You still feel like it's so fantastic. You don't feel, oh, you think you always think it's so creative. It's especially at that period of time, it's really hard, because right now it has so many like fantasy movies, films, so that kind of stuff is not hard to make, but at that moment I think it's so difficult, I think.
Yeah. It must have been crazy for people back then seeing those paintings.
Yeah. And I love that it's really dark, you know. It's not like a funny, like a Disney funny. It's like a dark humor, which I really like.
Yeah, I didn't notice much of the humor element of it now myself.
We have a lot of
I get more humor in Bruegel, but not so much in Bosch. He's pretty scary for me.
For me, it's kind of fun. Oh, Bruegel is also really good. Yeah, they're kind of a little bit similar.
Yeah.
Sometimes maybe I mix their painting a little bit.
Yeah, they're big on the crowd scenes. If they were making movies that have crowd scenes a lot.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. Kevin Mann on Patreon. Thanks for the tea, Kevin. Says there are many stories in your imagery. What sparks these ideas?
You mean my inspiration?
Well, maybe. I mean, he's saying that he sees a lot of stories in your imagery.
Okay.
Yeah, so maybe, inspiration. I mean, how does it start for you, maybe?
I think every time I start a painting, it's very different. They're totally different stories, each paintings, and sometimes they come from the news I see from internet, or the experience I had before, or some gossip story my friend told me. You know what I mean? Like it's basically in everywhere. I didn't pick like very particular specific subject matter. It just depends what I see, what I hear in my daily life, and I think it's it's ongoing every day, so it's endless, you know, new things coming up every day. So
yeah. And how do you record your ideas? Like, are you a sketchbook person? Do you make little thumbnails? Do you write them? You write? Some people like to write, or they make voice memos. What do you do?
yeah, I do write, but like very simple, just one sentence, just make me remember. Otherwise, I might forget. And then I think right now I might have like a lot of ideas I never do in my notebook. So I think I do sketches, but I normally do sketches on my iPad. I'm so lazy. Yeah, I do sketches like a simple composition, and then I ask my friend to model for me. And then
what program do you use on your iPad for that?
it's called Sketches.
Oh, okay.
It's like a simplified version of Photoshop.
Okay.
Easy to use, yeah. So I use that program. So I put a photo in the program, and then I can draw on the photo, you know, very easy. So yeah, and change the color, change the whole thing, and just leave a figure maybe, you know.
Yeah. And do you layer your ideas, meaning you'll have, you know, one idea and then you'll have another idea and you put another idea and you put them together, you know, because your paintings seem very layered and deep. I'm just wondering, is it like one central idea and then it just all comes from that, or do you sort of pile the ideas on top of each other?
I think from one first, have one general idea, then maybe I have like a, you know, I got a general composition, and then I start painting on the canvas. Then I might change my ideas. I might revise something or add something else, you know, later on.
Yeah. Okay. Kathy Lindert on Patreon, thanks for the tea, Kathy, says, do you pre-plan the compositions with sketches and with other tools like Photoshop, or do you figure them out intuitively as you go? And Marianne Carter, again on Patreon, thanks for the tea, Mary, says, hello, Deng. I truly admire your imaginative, compelling, and skillful work. Do you use Photoshop or any sort of computer graphic manipulation when determining your final images?
Yeah, so I am a pre-planned person, definitely.
You're a which person?
Pre-planned.
Pre-plan
first.
Okay.
Yeah. I never do a painting that's like, okay, I'm just gonna go for it. I don't know what's gonna going to be. I just go for it. I never do that. I don't know why. I just feel so insecure, you know. I want everything like in control. So but definitely pre-planned most of the stuff. At least makes me feel like, okay, it's safe to start, you know, because I don't want to waste too much time on the canvas by revising, wasting a lot of it doesn't work for me at least. It's not my style.
Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, I do use like a sketches program, so it's kind of like Photoshop to do sometimes do the collages, you know, paste stuff together.
Yeah.
And yeah.
All right. She also, Mary also says, when you're working on a painting, do you let it sit, then evaluate and change it over time, or do you have it fairly well worked out before you start? In general, I'm interested in how you arrive at your final image. Thank you much. So you kind of answered that, but if there's anything else you wanted to add to that.
Yeah, I think I start like very abstract, not very detailed. Like I do a study from my iPad is like so very abstract. You know, I use my fingers to do it. It's not like I'm actually using a pen to put everything in detail specific. No, I just want to have like a general composition and color composition. Also really important for me. So, and other details, I think is later on. I have no problem with details always. I think for me, the most important thing is have the general idea first. All the details I can easily make later on is no problem for me. So
yeah. Okay. Michael Ham in London says, do you arrange or set up a scene always? I think he's talking about photo shoots there.
Does it mean like I actually do a setting? That means like from real
I don't know.
life?
He has set up in inverted commas, so I'm not really sure what he means. I thought he would have meant about like you know, when you said you get your friends in or somebody in and you photograph them. You set it up.
Yeah,
you tell them
do.
what to do.
Yeah, but only for gestures. I don't care about background because I'm gonna make up the background because always my background is kind of like nothing related to the interior reality. You know? It's kind of like a theater settings. So
I have a question though. So in that situation, what about the lighting? Do you have a really particular lighting if you just like imagine on your background?
Actually, no. No, I just do whatever. Like I always photo my friends not in a very professional place, just in their house. You know what I mean? Like, just do whatever. I just need like a gesture. I just need like some like a certain angle. I feel like it's good for me to paint, and the lighting, I am not very picky about that.
And would you take many photos?
Yeah, I take a lot, and I choose only one.
And you choose one, is it?
Oh yeah, I don't just choose one of them. I just take
one
as much as possible.
Yeah. Oh, okay, so you don't kind of Frankenstein some of your favorite bits together on Photoshop or anything like that, or sketches?
Yeah, yeah.
You do that as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
I do. Yeah, the Photoshop is only for the background things, not for the figure.
Okay, so when you go to your friend, you just take some random kind of pictures in their house, and then of all those pictures, you pick one that's the one I'm going to make the painting around. Yes,
because I do have the gestures in my head before I take photo, but they will always be different. You know, as you're different from your imagination, it's always different.
Yeah.
Because I always ask them to do the gesture that's impossible. You know what I mean? Like in my head, it's possible, but in their figure, it's not. It's just not natural. So their pose for me just like exhausting because it's so hard. I do all the uncomfortable poses for them, so it's really bad. But from the painting, you don't feel that way, weirdly.
Yeah. All right. Grace Doyle in Baltimore says, I love your work. The surfaces look so juicy. It seems like you paint the same people. What are the figures' significance to you?
They're all my friends. I chose them just because it's free. Nothing particular.
You choose them because they're free and cheap? Is that what you said?
They're free. It's not like cheap. You don't need to pay anything.
Okay. She also says, how do the abstractions evolve within your work? Are they planned or do they evolve as you go? You balance realism with abstraction in such a unique way. Your work brings up to me thoughts of board games or a circus or funhouse, but also the psychological interior of the figures. So yeah, balancing the realism and the abstraction. How does that evolve?
Okay. So what's the first question? I forgot. It's too long.
How do the abstractions evolve within your work? Are they planned or that they just happen as you go?
I think they're planned. Yeah.
You plan the abstractions as well.
Even though I just put I take few brushstroke on my iPad, but I still do. I have to be like, I have to know what I'm about to do. You know, I have to be very certain what I'm gonna do. Yeah, for the reason I do abstraction is feel like it's mostly it's from my clothes, from the clothes from of the figures, you know, the costumes, the design of the costumes. I feel like my technique is really classical and traditional, and I feel like I need something to balance a little bit. So I feel like putting a fun, playful pattern on the clothes is kind of good way to balance. You know, it's not like you do a Photoshop or do collage, just paste something. It's so how to say that, like, so you want to do that on purpose. Oh, I don't want to, I want to be cool, or I want to be more like contemporary, so I just randomly paste something, you know, on it. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So I just want to do like for a reason. So I think it's put on the clothes as a pattern, because clothes is mostly as a decorative function, and I feel like I put that the flat and abstract, sometimes like cartoonish element in that is perfect for the clothes, you know, and sometimes the clothes is not is related to the theme I express in each painting. So
Right. So if I understand what you're saying, the abstractions are influenced by the clothes, and the clothes are part of what the whole painting is about.
yeah, it depends, because you see different painting, they are totally different costumes. So it depends what theme I express in each painting. So I design different clothes. Depend.
Yeah. So I'm guessing when you shoot your friends in their apartments, when you take the photos of your friends, that they're not wearing those costumes, that
No,
you
they're made up.
invent those after. Yeah.
No,
Yeah. Okay. Taylor on Instagram says, what are your thoughts on balancing form against flat shapes? Do you draw inspiration from papercraft or collage? And if so, from who and what in particular?
yeah, it, I do on my iPad, everything on my iPad. How I balance it? Yeah, I use the abstract element in a very certain way, and not like everywhere. I'm very careful about that, you know, because you put so many elements in one word, it's just very difficult and very not easy to make it coherent, you know. So I am very careful about that, like the proportion of it, like how much you want to, how much figurative um, um, element in the work, and how much abstraction element in the work. So I am very careful about that. So a lot of my work is, of course, is figurative element dominate the work. So mostly I just use the abstraction as a balance, you know, to make, you need some area to be like the technique, like a very serious, you know, from the masterful technique is very serious, and I want something like more like playful, you know. I don't want everything so serious. That makes sense.
Yeah.
It's not me, it's not my personality also. So.
Yeah. Okay. Susan Cartledge on Patreon, thanks for the tea, Susan, says, I recently discovered your work and I am in love with it. And she has love in capitals, so that's big love. I find I find myself exploring every bit of it and examining it on my tablet. So many questions. I'm curious about your use of geometry in your design and composition. Is this a personal design preference, or is it some sort of metaphor?
It's personal design preference. It's from, I think it's from my aesthetic, because people see things in their certain way. So I see the world in my way. So I like you can see in my painting, we have a lot of like a very pointy shape. I love that. I love pointy shape. So I put a lot of that element in it, just from my personal preference.
Okay. So there's no metaphor. It's just you like the shape, the look of the shape.
Yeah, the metaphor is not about the shape. Metaphor is something else, not a shape. Shape is just like a aesthetic thing.
Okay. Are there metaphors in your paintings consciously on your part?
Yeah, but it's I don't know how to say it because it's too general. Because everything is so particular, I don't know how to answer that. It's so different in different painting. I don't know how to say it. You know.
Do you mean that each painting has its own sort of metaphorical language, but so you can't? Yeah, I'm not asking you to generalize, like, you know, but there are metaphors in your paintings.
Yeah,
that's all. Yeah.
Definitely.
All right. Bridget Elizabeth in Minnesota says, I'd be interested to hear how you think about design and composition. The design of these paintings are incredible. And then Kathy Lindart again says, I'd love to hear more about your process for conceptualizing and constructing the compositions, both single figure and multi-figure, and also the context for many of them seem imaginary, with many extras in inverted commas that are often shape-based, such as cones. How do you conceptualize the context for the figures?
So the first one is about the composition.
Yeah. So it's generally, how do you come up with your composition? And then with a sort of focus on the balance between these extras, these shapes, cones, whatever, and the figures.
I think, let me see, how can I say that? I think a lot of my work composition is quite simple. I don't know why people keep asking composition. It's like one figure and background. And yeah, I do have like a multi-figures, like a bigger size. That I do I normally do, if I do like multiple figures, I normally do like multiple canvas put together, like a diptych or triptych.
Yeah.
The reason for that, I think, most importantly, is because I feel like my painting is kind of inspired by the stages, spiritual stages. So I feel like that's kind of like they have like a different section on the theater stage. Like when you see the show, they're gonna have like section one, section like act one, act two. Is that called that one?
Yeah.
So I feel like I put like different sections. It's kind of indicate that. I feel it's kind of makes sense to me, and also their different panels have different image in it, you know, but they are still in the one world. For example, I think I need to for example, the like 4 girls in a table with the food, that one I put like 2 panels together, and the reason for that, I think that one, what I want to express is about like ASMR videos. You know, you see that kind of videos on YouTube. Do you ever see
the ones with the sound, those ones?
Yeah, like they eat and they make sound, and you feel kind of satisfied to watch it. So that one is about that.
ADSMR or something like, what are the words? What are the, ESMR. Yeah, those things. Yeah. So do they affect you? There seems like there's 2 types of people. There's people that's really does something to, and other people are like, yeah, I don't know what the big deal is.
No, I just think it's fun.
Yeah.
Just for entertaining, you know.
All right. Who was I talking to? Will St. John. He was like, oh yeah, that really, he has feelings when he listens to that.
I just see that as an inspiration. I can see everything as an inspiration, so there's no problem for me. I don't take it personally.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I feel like that thing right now people do, it's so I don't know, it's so interesting for me, you know. I don't feel like anything wrong with I feel like just that thing should happen in nowadays, you know, and not before. It definitely is something that only happens at the present day.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
self-entertaining, and people love to see that because people are so bored, you know. And so I think that is a very interesting thing for me to express. So I put on a canvas, and also I put like two, but like it's not like 4 people, it's actually like 2 people, but in the reverse image, because I feel like when you do a photo from the camera, from the lens, it's actually the opposite from the reality. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Yeah, so I think it works in that composition, you know what I mean? Yeah, that one it's about that, and the background is like people are watching you, like you can see a lot of like faces from the background, so people from the they're the audience, they're seeing you, and you're being consumed, and you're also they are also the being consumed. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So it's yeah, that one is it's about that. And I have another one. They have like a three panels together, but in the horizontal way, not in the vertical way. So that one is about a hierarchy. So I feel like that one is about the in the very bottom, the panel is about like a bunch of like people are working in a desk. So they're like a different class, you know. So I put like 3 panels. I could put more, but it's okay. It's clear enough. So I feel like that kind of composition tells the way I wanna express the ideas I wanna express, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it depends on how I wanna tell the story, you know, the composition. Is that good enough?
Yeah, that sounds great.
Okay, good.
Taylor Tynes in Salt Lake City says, I'd be curious to hear about your preparatory work for each painting. Do you do sketches, small paintings, take photograph studies from life, etc., before starting on your final paintings? I love your work, ! So you've kind of answered that, but is there anything else you want to add to that?
Yeah, I do actually have one to add is I never do like the actual study as a preparation of my final work. All the thing I do is from my iPad. I actually have a reason for that. For me, I like fresh things. You know, if I do a little study, I already don't feel fresh anymore. When I start the 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 similar one, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I already feel tired, you know. I never wanted to do like exactly the same thing over and over. So that's my reason. I want to do things like very fresh.
Yeah. So it sounds like you work out a lot of stuff on your iPad, which is kind of digital, which is not painting. So that when you start painting, it's almost like you're starting from the beginning, yet you're kind of not.
Yes. Yeah. The iPad is just the general idea. It's not like, okay, I'm gonna do exactly like the image, you know.
Yeah. Okay, Vera Case in Portugal says, do you use photo reference for some of the paintings where the figure is more distorted?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
What question?
Pardon?
What question is that? Is that?
Well, you've answered it already because
okay.
they're asking you, do you use photo reference for it? I think they're going because they're looking at the finished painting and going, you have the distorted bodies, and it's like, do you use photo reference for that, or do you use your imagination to distort the bodies?
Yeah, I use my imagination. I don't use the photo to do that, sadly. Because I think it's so easy to do yourself than do the photograph. Do the full Photoshop to edit it. You can just draw a longer line or use a longer brush, and that's it. You don't need to do on the Photoshop. It doesn't make sense for me.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Colleen Barry in New York, former podcast guest, says, how planned out are your compositions? Do you do a cartoon for transfer purposes, or is everything free-handed in terms of drawing on the canvas?
Okay. So I did answer the composition before. Is that also covered this one?
No. This one is about how do you actually, when you start painting, the drawing part. She's kind of asking, do you do a drawing? Cartoon, she's calling it a cartoon, but I think she means a drawing. Do you do a drawing and then transfer it onto the canvas, or do you start drawing on the canvas?
Okay, I do drawing on my sketchbook first.
Okay.
Yeah, I do drawing on my sketchbook first, and I love use the cartoon element in my painting a lot, because when I was little, I'm such a huge Disney fan,
Disney.
And I still do, yeah. I still am huge Disney fan. And in my childhood dream job is working in Disney company. Sadly, it will never happen.
Why? Why not?
I just want to be my own boss.
Okay. And what did you want to do? What did you want to do in Disney? Like, did you want to work in the theme park, or you want to work on the films?
Of course, films, like do the
films.
character design, or because I before I officially study art, I always draw like cartoon characters, I think that's one of my most enthusiasm thing. Even there's no meaning for that, it's not a job or anything, I still do, actually. I still do when I was bored or anything. I doodles in my sketchbook,
So who are your favorite Disney characters? Who do you like draw repeatedly?
Oh no, I made up. It's nothing to do with the exist characters. I made up the characters.
Oh, you make up your own. Okay.
Disney is like the start, it attracts me as a animation. Disney is why I love animation. I love the way they're doing it.
Okay.
But especially the 2D version.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're so creative. Right now, it's more simplified because of the three-dimensional model. You can't do a lot of interesting and subtle facial expressions like they used to. So it's less interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, I think, yeah, that's why because before I feel like, I think, the animation is animation. I love to doing that, but I put the fine art and my actual work, it's like very serious paintings,
yeah, right.
Rembrandt, and I think they're so different, like two separate things. I'll never think, I'm gonna do that in one piece or anything. And I think when I start to recall my memory, I feel like maybe I should do experiment on that. I feel like that's more like me. I think the painting definitely should be like close to your personality, because before my painting is more serious, I think it's the painting is painting means me. I don't feel too much relate with the work, actually.
Yeah.
I just want to do like, oh, I copy the old masters. I want to do the old. I want to be old master or anything, you know.
Yeah. So who are your favorite Disney characters? I'm curious. I used to work in animation years ago, so I'm kind of into animation a bit still.
Favorite Disney character. Well, I like Donald Duck.
Yeah. Okay. The classics.
And now my new favorite is Forky from Toy Story.
Which one?
Forky. The little
Porky.
Forky from Toy Story 4, the newest movie.
Oh, I haven't seen that yet. A plastic
Yeah,
fork.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I haven't seen
have
that
a
one.
T-shirt about that.
And it's called Forky.
Yeah. It's so cute, so funny.
Okay, brilliant. Do you like the like Snow White and Pinocchio and those ones as well?
I like the animation of the Snow White, but I don't like Snow White, the princess herself.
No, that's understandable.
The traditional woman, I don't like it.
Yeah, but what about the dwarves? They're pretty good. And the queen is pretty scary.
I like all the design of the dwarves. They're so cool. And when I was young, my father bought me the little statues. They're like
okay.
quite of like the 7 dwarves. I love them.
Yeah, good. What do you like to paint on? Substrate wise, is it canvas, board, aluminium?
Oh, canvas.
Canvas.
Linen. Yeah.
Linen, is that what you said?
Yeah, linen.
Linen. Okay. You don't like boards, or you haven't tried them, or?
I do. It's just so heavy for me.
They're just too heavy.
Yeah.
Okay. And what about aluminium? You haven't tried that? Have you tried aluminium? That's not heavy, apparently. I haven't tried it myself. But
I never tried that. I feel like that surface is quite very smooth, right? Very, very smooth. I never tried that.
Okay. Then when you start to paint, do you do a grisaille or anything like that?
Oh, no.
No.
My process is very, very simple because my only medium is linseed oil. That's it. You know. I don't use any other mediums. I have my own reason for that. I feel like if you use a lot of medium, you need to be very, very careful, like oil overlaying, you have to be very careful about that because they have like a lot of chemical reactions into it. So
yeah.
And also you need to wait for dry. I mean, patient person, I will never do that. So I just use one thing. Okay, no matter how your chemical reacts, okay, that's only one. You go. That's the simplest thing. But before that, when I do like a general, like filling the empty canvas, like a general the color, I use acrylic.
Okay.
Instead of using turpentine or to do that,
Yeah. So do you do a kind of acrylic underpainting, or are you just blocking in the shapes, the big shapes?
Yeah, just block the shape.
Yeah. Okay.
And sometimes I just leave it,
Sometimes you just leave the raw canvas?
No, leave the acrylic layer.
Okay.
Yeah, especially like some flat area. I don't need to use the oil to overdo it again. No point.
Yeah. Yeah. So it sounds like you don't do glazing or anything like that, do you?
Very rare. Sometimes I do. Sometimes.
Yeah. Okay.
But you like old master technique so much. Why you just like the look of it, but you don't really do the glazing?
Yeah, I just love the look of it. I can do that in the direct way. Still look like indirect. I don't know why, but yeah,
have you here? I know it's very time consuming, but have you thought about maybe just one painting you do the very extreme, like super flat at one side, and then you do the extremely like glazing, like totally copy old master style. I think that would
Not
be really
totally
funny.
that way. Not totally. I think because I use my process, like I start, like for example the face, I start with like the certain area first, not like put everything together. I start one thing very detailed and move to other places.
Yeah.
So like I finish this, I finish the eye, okay, that's it, I won't touch it. Or
Yep.
you know, it's not like, oh, I do everything first, like very general first, like everything together.
Yep.
Yeah, opposite of me. I really admire that mentor too, actually.
Yeah, because I feel like I can focus one thing. I really need to focus one thing first.
Yeah. Yeah. Who is it? Katie O'Hagan. That's the way she paints as well. She will have a blank canvas and she'll start with the eye. And what she is, it's amazing. She doesn't do any drawing or anything, but she manages to get the eye right in the right spot.
Wow.
And then the whole thing
cool.
grows out of that eye, and it's the composition's perfect. But it's always the eye for her to start, which would terrify me. But anyway, or wouldn't terrify me, but I'd get a lovely eye, and then half the person would be missing off the side of the canvas.
Yeah, I feel like I have a reason for that, because when you do something like very detailed or you feel like good about it, you have the confidence to moving on. You know what I mean? Like, I do this really good, I'm gonna keep going everything.
Yeah.
Does that make sense for
it
you?
does, yeah. I'm the opposite now. I'd be like, if I did something really good, I'd be going, oh God, that's great. Now can I make everything else as good as that? that's why I like to sort of do it all, slowly bring it into focus,
That also makes sense.
Is that the same for you, Hellas?
I think I'm just a very uncertain person. I always change, like when I work, so I always like go back and like think about it. It's hard for me to start with one place. I know I'm gonna change at the end. I think it's just how confident are you on the canvas. It's different. I mean, personality.
I know. When I'm back in China, they always teach me in that way, not in my way. Though, like you have to think about everything first, not think about detail first. You know what I mean? You have to think the whole picture, not do the detail at the beginning. But I find out that's and I do a lot of exercise of that, so I know what I'm doing right now, so I can start with details.
Yeah. Okay, Michael Ham in London again says, or Hyam says, what does your palette comprise? So basically, what's on your palette?
Oh, palette. You mean the colors?
Colors. Yeah. Well, is it always the same? Do you always start with the same palette, or is it different from painting to painting?
Pretty much the same.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Okay. All right. Go. What have we got then?
Titanium white, yellow ochre, red ochre, or flash ochre, orange, cadmium orange, transparent red oxide, cadmium red, crimson, and magenta, and what else? Violet.
Which violet?
Oh, I don't really know. I only have one violet. I think like normal, the most normal.
It's just a violet. Okay.
Or
I'm always curious what other people use. That's why.
I don't know. But normally I don't use violet that much. I normally mix the magenta with the ultramarine blue. And and earth green. Is that the name?
Earth green, yeah. I used to use that one a lot too.
Okay, and cadmium green. What else? And they have like a blue green. What's the name of that?
Cerulean?
Yeah. Cerulean.
What brand do you use?
You mean in general or that color?
Yeah. No, in general.
Yeah. It's called what the gambling.
Oh,
gambling. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and some certain like bright colors. I bought like Old Holland or Michael Harden because I feel like it's fresher. Makes me feel better. I don't know if that's really work, but makes me feel like even normally like earth color. I just use like,
your palette is very traditional too. I'm surprised. I'm just looking at your work and then the way you describe the old master and the color used, yellow ochre, and I look at your work. I'm like, I don't. It's a little contrasting between this.
Because a lot of color I use is acrylic. Maybe that's why. All these color I use mostly for the like the flash.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I was thinking there's a lot of red, and orange. Yeah.
Yeah, and ultramarine and blue black. That's it.
Oh yeah, blue black. Yeah, I've heard of that.
That's a color. Right. Blue black.
Yeah.
Like cold black. Yeah.
Oh, cold. Okay.
No, I've heard of blue black as well.
It's called blue black.
But it's not gambling brand. It's I think the Winsor Newton.
Blue black. Let me look it up.
Yeah, they have blue black.
Blue black. Yeah. Okay, Kevin Mann on Patreon. Thanks for the tea, Kevin. Says your art has very vivid. Sorry, your art has very little vivid chroma. Do you avoid these intentionally, and if so, why? Thank you. Your work has a very cool atmosphere.
What's chroma mean?
Chroma is like the color of it, So you could say if it was a photo, it'd be like very saturated.
就是对饱和度很高的意思。
他意思是饱和度不高，是吗？
Very chrome, right? That's what he said. The
vivid
color.
Chroma. Yeah, he said it has very little vivid chroma.
Very little or no?
He says your art has very little vivid chroma, meaning not a lot. And do you
fresh, like
do you avoid bright. It? Do you avoid it intentionally?
Yes. If it's not bright, yes. I don't like very chroma.
Vivid chroma, yeah, okay. And then he says, and if why don't you like it?
I think it's just like my personal preference, I like things that kind of neutral.
Yeah,
but I feel like a lot of my painting, the color sometimes is kind of bright, especially under the like natural light, because normally I did in my studio and it doesn't have windows. I don't know, and I bring it near the windows, like what the fuck. It's like I don't like that color at all. It's so bright. Maybe some people do, but it's not my intention. Yeah, I normally I prefer like lower doesn't not so bright, not so bright,
not so vivid chroma. Okay. So do you have favorite type or make of brush or palette knife that you like to use?
Brush. I do have my favorite brush. Soft brush, like a filbert.
Yeah.
Soft. But not particular brand, just everything soft. I like soft. I never use like a very hard brush.
Yeah.
I think the soft brush is for acrylic, not for oil paint. I always use that. The oil paint brush is normally very hard. I don't like.
Okay. All right. And mostly filberts, or do you use rounds as well, or flats, or?
filbert mostly because I can use the edge to do the details, so I don't need to use a line brush. I never have a line brush, so I can use the edge to do like very fine details instead of using like a single hairbrush to do it.
Yeah. So how do you check yourself as you're working? Like some artists use a mirror a lot, or they'll turn the canvas upside down, or they'll take photos on their phone, or they squint, or they get their friends in to give them a little feedback. What do you do?
I use mirrors, definitely. And then sometimes I use my phone to check, Sometimes you see things too closely, and you put on your phone, and you see because the phone have like a more contrast than the normal image. Sometimes you can see the problem more obviously.
Yep.
And yeah, I sometimes I ask my friend advice. I need a fresh eye, I see too long. Sometimes I can't see the problems anymore, or sometimes maybe it's not that bad, but I see too much. I think, oh, it's so bad. Maybe it's not that bad. I need fresh eyes to make me feel I don't know, to help me. Sometimes they do have better advice, and sometimes I ask my father as well.
Is your father a painter, or has he just got a good eye?
He's not a painter. He got good eye, but he knows painting because before I learning, so he know, he has the vision. But sometimes we didn't share the same aesthetic, but mostly I trust his opinion, even though sometimes he's, oh, this is not good, blah blah blah. I said, oh no, I don't agree with you, but later on I was like, maybe he's right.
That's nice. Okay, but not your mom. Your mom's hasn't got the eye.
My mom is just supportive mom. Everything I do is it's great, amazing. So
okay.
It's not very helpful at all. Just everything I do is great. That's it.
Okay. Well, that has its place. So you said about your studio's no windows. What kind of lighting setup do you have in your studio?
No lighting setup.
Come on, you don't work in the dark.
I should have. Yeah, I'm so I'm the person rely on the environment so little. You know what I mean? Like I can just sitting in like so little space and can start a painting no matter what. So I never think about that. Maybe I should, because I realize maybe the color sometimes change in different conditions.
So are you just working in whatever overhead light just happens to be in the room that you happen to be painting in? Okay. All right. What, if anything, do you listen to as you work?
I listen a lot. I listen movies sometimes, or TV shows. And recently I listened to American Horror Story. Because I'm so scared of like a scary movie or something, but I want to see, I want to know what happened, so I just listen.
Okay, so the movie is on, but you're not watching it; you're just listening to it, are you?
No, I watch it, but
you're watching it as you're painting.
Listen. While I'm painting. When I'm not painting, I'm gonna watch it, but when I'm painting, I'm gonna listen.
I do the same thing too. I listen to a lot of movie lately because I got really bored of podcasts. No offense to you, John, but I need like little scene in my brain when I work.
Yeah.
I listen to a lot of movies.
Me too.
Is it always movies that you haven't seen before, or you have seen before, or is it movies you haven't seen before?
No, I haven't seen. It's something I haven't seen. I want to see, but I'm afraid of seeing it.
Oh, okay.
So mostly scary. I want to know the story, but I don't want to see it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
What
when
about
I
you, Alice?
hear the scary sound, I'm gonna not seeing it. But something I'm curious. I'm gonna just put my brush on the table and see, oh, what's happened. Okay.
I listen to a lot of movies that I think it will waste my time if I watch it. But I just listen to it. Or
it's kind of like a cliche movie.
And a lot of rom-com too. Sometimes I just want to be in that mood, nothing dramatic. I don't need like social justice. I don't need documentary. I don't need that in my heart. I just need like something like I know is, it's entertaining.
Yeah, I also watch a lot of like murder documentary. I listen to murder documentary.
Okay.
I listen all those too. All those in Netflix. All of them.
I love murder documentary.
Okay. So you are the two that Netflix makes all those for, because whenever I'm going through what's on Netflix, I'm like, God, it's just nothing but murder and horror on this channel. Now I know what they're making it for. They're making it for you too.
Some of them are really good. You need some recommendation?
So
no, I don't. Thank you. I can just turn on the news. If I want horror, I can just turn on the news.
I never see the news.
Okay.
like before the New York, they have like a storm, the raining, and my friends asked me, "Oh, how about New York?" I was like, "What happened?" Like I have no idea what's going on. Like, you don't see this flooding, the subway.
I guess you don't live in basement then.
Yeah,
that's why it flood.
I don't know. I didn't see the news. I thought it's just like a normal rain for me,
Yeah, I'm the same. I don't watch the news, and it's always someone will always tell you. So if it's really important, someone will tell you.
Yeah. If it's really important. Yeah, I'm the person. If like surrounding me, it's okay. I feel like the world is gonna be okay.
Yeah. Good. Do you have a unusual or favorite tool, paint, medium, piece of equipment, something that someone listening might be surprised to hear about that, when you think about it, you go, yeah, I haven't seen anybody else doing this or using this?
I think I do the acrylic for the first layer. It's kind of rare, is it?
I do that too.
Okay.
But I think it's not. It is rare, though. It's not that common.
I think that's really helpful for most of people, because for the health problems, for people cannot stand turpentine, you can use that instead, and it's dries so faster than the turpentine, I think. So I think it's really helpful for you. You can revise at any moment, and I also recently I also used airbrush. Yeah, for my acrylic layer, of course. For something, I think it needs some shadow, a little shadow in it. But for acrylic, I can't do that in evenly. It's hard. Acrylic, so I just use an airbrush to like spray a little bit. That's it. Faster, look better.
Oh, yeah, that's interesting. I wanna try that technique.
Yeah, maybe it's not very obvious in my opinion, because I don't use that in a lot of area. I just
for the under layer, like a core shadow thing.
Yeah, for that some object, the shadow I'm gonna, or some folds.
That's very interesting. I'm gonna look that up. Airbrush.
Yeah, it takes a bit of getting used to an airbrush. It's not they're not easy.
Yeah, is it? I feel like it's so easy.
Yeah. Okay.
Maybe I buy the airbrush. It's not like a very big one. It's like so small with the charger in the bottom. Not like they have like a big
compressor.
Yeah. It's not like that.
No, it's just the thing of holding it, that you have to hold it. You can't, move your hand around because it's holding the ink, or it's holding the paint in the little cup.
Is that hard?
Well, yes, for me.
You mean control the
Well, it's just like when you have a paintbrush, you're not really thinking about how there's not a little thimble of liquid sitting on top of the paintbrush that I have to keep upright, you know.
The one thing it's kind of annoys me is cleaning that.
Oh yeah.
It's
Yeah.
too much work. I don't like. Yeah. So I don't use that very often. Some if it only is necessary.
Yeah. Yeah. Very good. Airbrush. There you go. You do have a quirky, unusual thing. Barbara Pence on Patreon. Thanks for the tea, Barbara. Says, where do the offbeat, disconcerting images in your work come from? I love your use of hands in your images. Also, you seem to use different technique in almost every image. Delicate drawings with subdued color in some, highly colorful and abstract shapes alongside realism in others. How or why do you make these stylistic decisions? So first bit is about the images. Where did they come from? You kind of talked about that. And then there's the decisions, the stylistic decisions that you make.
Yeah. I think I'm quite a open-minded person, so I think nothing I cannot do in the work, you know. So sometimes I find something new I just want to use in the work. Some like some texture or like the airbrush thing I'm gonna use in a certain area. But I'm not using like too much in one, you know, otherwise it's gonna be overwhelming. Sometimes they have drawings in the work, sometimes they don't. It depends how I feel about the work, you know.
Yeah.
Or sometimes I'm gonna use cartoon, sometimes I won't. It's not like, oh, every work I have to be everything necessary in one. It depends on how I want the work to be. Something I sometimes I think, oh, it need to be more fun, more playful. Okay, I'm gonna use the animation thing. And sometimes I think, oh, maybe it doesn't need that, you know.
Yeah. From listening to you, it sounds like your work is generally going more like you're getting more of the fun side of your personality into your work. Is that right?
Yeah, because I feel like right now the painting is more like myself.
Yeah.
Before it's totally not. I mean, before it's like 4 years ago when I'm back in China.
Yeah.
It's totally not me. The work is like very dark and all the news and apocalyptic feelings. It do make sense because back at that moment, in China, in Beijing, the air pollution is like pretty bad at that moment, and I felt, and I was just graduated, I felt like so desperate, you know, like when I open the windows, I can't open the windows, but as artists, you need to open the window to how to say that, like yeah, because at that moment I didn't use acrylic. I need to open the window to put the turpentine out of the room, but I can't.
The fumes, yeah.
It's like, oh, I'm gonna die in either way, you know.
Yeah.
So so at that moment I feel like, oh, this is like the end of the world. Everything's just so bad, hopeless. Just like my future is just like the air in Beijing, you know. It's like,
wow,
can't see anything, far away. Yeah, right now I feel like when I'm getting here, yeah, of course, no, it do have some air pollution, but it's not as bad as
I was going to say, yeah, you moved to scenic New York where the air pollution is
but at least I can see the blue sky. But at that moment I never see it. I rarely see a blue sky. I've been recording, like I take every day I take picture of the sky. Oh my god, it's like only 1 or 2 days a month I can see a blue sky, you know,
in Beijing.
Yeah, it's like, oh my god, it's so bad. Maybe that's a decision I wanted to study abroad. it's one of the very important decisions.
Yeah, right. The decision was to study abroad was influenced by your need to see the sky more often.
It's not like I don't want to live here forever, you know. It's just not good for me, not good for my painting. If I don't have a good mood, my painting won't be good also.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I need a fresh environment. So I moved here.
Yeah, very good. Kathleen Clark on Patreon, thanks for the tea, Kathleen, says, hi, John. Hi, Deng. Fantastic work. Both of you, she has in brackets. Yay, we both got a fantastic work. These paintings are so wonderfully strange. Every model seems caught by the artist in a state, a mood, a thought, a feeling, as if they arrived in a land of shape and color they aren't quite sure of. Subtly handled, not shouting at the viewer, slightly creepy, cranky, odd, and poignant. If I had a question, it might be, how did you come to this way of seeing and portraying? What was your journey like to these paintings? Thank you.
Yeah, and I think I started this kind of series like 3 years ago from 2019. Before that, my painting is kind of like nude, like dark, apocalyptic feelings. And
do you mean apocalyptic? Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Apocalyptic. Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, at the moment I was studying in New York Academy of Art, and that's my second year, and I felt like I don't want to do that anymore. Maybe because the environment changes, you know. I mean, here is very different from before. I don't feel like I want to do that anymore. And also I think it's nothing like me, you know. I'm not like that dark person. And I think like I feel like I'm also very interested in fashion. Also, I don't look anything like I'm I'm a fashion person, but I'm interested in the design of it, you know. I feel like it could be a way for me to explore, you know. I can design my own clothes easily, just put a few brush strokes, that's it. It's not like you're actually a designer, you have to actually made it. So it gives me more freedom to do it, you know. I can experiment in the texture, the different mediums, and you know, give me a lot of space to play. So I think it's very fun to do it. I feel like I enjoy the process more and more than before.
That's brilliant. So you get to be a fashion designer in your paintings.
Yeah, but it definitely is nothing to do like the real actually like fashion design. I never learned anything about the clothes, just but the functions not the functions differently from the fashion, you know. It functions in my painting just super for my painting, and it conveys the idea I wanted to express. That's all I hear.
Yep. I see a beautiful collaboration in your future between Disney and some fashion house where they say, can you design a movie for us, and can you design all the costumes for this new Disney movie that we're making?
It won't be Disney. Well, they have their certain style actually.
For Disney?
Yeah, I feel like it's too weird for Disney.
Yeah, well, it depends on the movie, doesn't it? I'm kind of more thinking of like, say, Tim Burton. Didn't he make a couple of Disney movies?
Oh, Tim Burton. Yeah, I love Tim Burton style.
Yeah. So,
old style. Now, not anymore.
Oh, you like his earlier stuff.
Yeah, like what's a cartoon? The animation, like it's a also another one, the Bride, the
Corpse Bride, the Corpse Bride,
I like the style in it. Very interesting.
Yeah. Okay. Did you like Guillermo del Toro's, you know, the one he made about the Day of the Dead. I don't know the name of it, but that's great as well.
Is Disney?
No, it's not Disney. No.
Pan's Labyrinth, right? You mean that?
Oh,
No,
Pan's
not
Yeah,
Pan's
yeah.
Labyrinth. That's great as well. But no, he made a similar to those two movies, that the Night Before Christmas and the Corpse Bride. He made a similar one about the Day of the Dead. It's like a little love story between two little kind of skeleton creatures, people. It's lovely.
I think I've seen that.
Is it? Is it
Let me
animated?
look it up.
Yeah, it's animation, yeah. But I'm not sure if it's stop motion or computer.
Oh.
It looks stop motion, but it might be computer.
Yeah, I think I love old Disney short animation as well. Like I remember the one is very memorable for me when I see that when I was so young. It's called Ferdinand, the little cow.
Yeah,
Have you ever seen that?
I think I have, yeah.
Yeah, it have huge influence for me too, because it's like every other call is like competing, fighting each other. He's just like quietly sitting in his favorite tree and smell the flower. And I feel like I'm always like Ferdinand, like I always like just don't care about what happening, how crazy the world is outside. I just sitting quietly in my favorite studio chair and then smell the paints.
Smell the turpentine. Very good. Did you find it, Hellas?
No, I don't. Is Del Toro? I don't think he made a cartoon, did he?
Yeah, he made one cartoon.
Yeah,
It
also
doesn't show
like
in the wiki.
the is that they made
in his filmography. Maybe he just wrote it or something. I'm sure he did.
I also like Wallace and Gromit.
Oh my god, they're brilliant.
The sheep.
So good.
The sheep one as well. What's it? Shaun the sheep or something?
Shaun the sheep.
Oh, okay, confused, different.
But yeah, they're from the same company, I think.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, it's all in Bristol. Yeah, in the UK.
Yeah.
Okay, I have to find this film now. Hang on one sec.
Yeah, I'm looking. I didn't see it.
Okay. Yeah, it's Pixar.
Oh,
but it's not
Coco.
Day of the Dead.
Okay, that's so new. Okay.
Coco, that's it. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, Coco.
Okay, I know that one. Yeah. I saw that one.
So who made? I don't know why. Maybe I'm just being, putting two things together and going, oh yeah, it must have been him. It must have been. He's from Mexico. It must have been him. Oh dear.
But the style
is not dark at all.
It's not what?
It's not dark at all.
It's not dark at all. No, I said it's like what do you call? The day before. No, Nightmare Before Christmas and Corpse Bride. It's like that. It's lots of little cute characters with skeleton heads.
They're so different. The style is so different.
Okay, fine.
I'm not a huge fan of Coco. Nah.
Yeah, it's all right.
All right, fine. Now, if you're thinking to yourself, God, I'm really enjoying this podcast. I've listened to a few now and they're brilliant. And there's so many of them. And I've learned so much from listening to them. And you know what? If I met that John Dalton fella in real life, I'd love to buy him a cup of tea and have a chat with him. I'd love to do that every month if I could. Well, now you can. The tea part at least, because this podcast runs on cups of tea bought for me by people like you who listen to the podcast and send me the price of a cup of tea once a month through the Patreon account. That's patreon.com/John Dalton Gently Does It. All one word. And if you're one of those people who already send me cups of tea through Patreon, thanks a million. The tea is lovely and I really appreciate it. Now, the great thing is that if you can't afford to send me the price of a cup of tea or you don't want to, that's fine. You still get exactly the same podcast for free. It's sort of an honor system where the people who can afford it and want to pay for the people who can't or don't want to. So it's all lovely. So if you'd like to send me a cup of tea once a month, you can do that through Patreon. I'd really appreciate it. It makes a huge difference to me. Okay, Nikita Shah in India says, "Hi, ma'am. Why distort reality? Is it creative to do so?" And then Alice Angela Toik in South Africa says, "Hi, John. Thanks always for the wonderful podcasts and chats. Deng's work is wonderful and has a palpable contemporary feel to it. Those rare cases where it doesn't feel or seem forced at all, but her ability to paint realistically and naturalistically is very strong. I'd love to know when she started to play with proportion and stylization of the human form in her technique. It appears she does both so well, and the balance is sublime." So again, you've kind of covered it, but if there's anything else you want to add to that?
Okay. I think because reality, I think it depends how you define the words reality, right? Some people see reality as what they see, but some people what they feel. I'm more like what I feel about the world. So I use the distortion. It's just the way I see things. It's just my way, my perspective, you know.
Yeah.
And also aesthetically, definitely. Maybe because of influence by like El Greco or Francis Bacon, or it could be.
Yeah. Okay. Ben Top on Instagram says, "Is your point of view in your work a reflection of the subject or observer?" I haven't a clue what he means. I was hoping you would. It kind of melted my brain when I read that question. I'll read it again. Is the point of view in your work a reflection of the subject or observer? Not really sure what it means.
Is that means like?
我觉得他的意思是，你是从那个物件的本身出发，还是你觉得你是旁观者的意思？
It depends. It depends. Sometimes the painting is like relate to myself. It's just my own experience. That's it. You know, it's totally relate to myself. Sometimes it's something I see. You know, I'm not in that world, but I have my I just want to express it in my way, my perspective. But sometimes it's just my personal experience. For example, before I lost a painting, and after that I just paint a painting about that, you know.
Yeah. Okay. What did you explain that question as, Hellas? Because I didn't really understand the question myself, so it sounds like you did.
I think what he means is more like it's from the point of view that I'm the character or the object in a painting, or she's more observer that like just recording the whole event and storytelling. That's how I
that makes sense. Yeah.
But I think for most of the artists that usually depends, like she said, right? Sometimes you're a director, you want to direct a film, a theater play, but sometimes you are the character. It's hard to say most of the time.
Yeah.
I think both. Yeah.
I was going to say, both, isn't it? Both, really. Even if you think you're the director, it's not. You're the actor as well. Okay, Michael Ham in London again says, "What motivates you to paint?"
Oh. Motivates me because just I think I have a lot of express, and I think painting is the easiest way for me to express my ideas, you know, because it requires so little. You just need a canvas and brush, or sometimes just the paper and pencil, and you can do your own thing. And not like doing a film. It requires so much and a lot of money also, or sculpture. I'm so weak, I can't do that. And I think this is the more direct way for me, you know, to express my ideas. So I think I use the painting, and I perceive things from the world, and I always wanted to express something, you know, whatever sometimes I hear from people are talking, they're talking about something, and I think, oh, that sentence so makes sense, I'm gonna write it down, maybe I can use that for my painting in the future or something, or I see a movies and I wanted to do something related to that, or something happened to me. I just wanted to express my emotions so badly, you know. So there's always something drives me to want to express, you know. It's just like you're the sponge. You always absorb things every day, you know.
Yep. Kathy Lindert again on says, I see that you've done master copies. How have those influenced your art?
A lot. Yeah, like the beginning, you know, I always say, like at the beginning, I learned painting from copy old masters, because my dad works in a library, so I always painting in his office, and I saw a lot of like old master art books, so I start from there. I just pick like I think the first one I did is like Van Dyck portrait, and then I did like from a Vermeer and Holbein, yeah, and Sargent also. Yeah, that's the first step. I learned the painting, so it's like huge influence that I can't get rid of, you know.
Yeah, and that was all before you ever went to any kind of formal art education. Yeah, wow.
Yeah, even though at that moment I didn't think about color at all, I just think about, oh, I trying to be copy, just like the like more like a drawing way, you know.
Yeah.
Cool. The form, how they deal with the form, how they rendering still have huge influence, you know. Every time I see the like from the museum, the works, I always felt so close to me, even though they are so far away, they're a long time ago, have nothing to do with contemporary life, but I felt so close, maybe because of my own experience, you know, more close than any other, like from the gallery work. I feel like so far away, even though it's from the present.
Yeah. Yeah. Are you inspired by contemporary painters at all, like people working now?
I do admire some contemporary painters, like his name Antonia Lopez.
Yeah.
Garcia, because I just saw his a video of him doing a cityscape on the street recently, and he's like 80 something, you know. I just admire his work ethic, you know. It's just so moving for me, and I love the quietness in his work, you know. In this chaos world, I just, when I always see his work, I feel so peaceful, you know, because nowadays everybody wanted to make very loud paintings, like, you know, like, oh, I look at me, like everyone's like, look at me and get attention, and his work is just like quiet, peaceful, and just whatever, do his own thing, you know, and the quality of it just so amazing.
Yeah, a bit like Fernando.
And also I think another one, Justin Mortimer.
Oh yeah.
I remember when I first saw his work, it's from when I was so young. I saw the documentary back in China on the TV. It's about documentary about an old guy. He doing portrait of Queen Elizabeth. They do a record like how they set up doing thing, but his work is not impressed me at all. I just like, nah. But they do have some clips of another portraits of the queen, which is like the head is floating in the air, and the background is like a very very flash yellow, and I was like, wow, this is so good. And very later on, I saw, oh, this artist called Justin Mortimer. At that moment, I haven't learned art at all, but that memory, just the image is still in my head. Mm-hmm. What else? Neil Roth. Is that name? German artist.
Say it again.
Neil Roth or Neil Roche? I don't know.
Yeah, I think I know who you're talking about.
Yeah. I like his work also, because his work is always like so imaginative. I always admire people with imaginations, you know. And he just like I saw his a documentary of his doing the work. He just like everything is from his head, you know. He just do whatever it coming through. It's just so great, and I love it.
Great. Van Nigen, sorry if that ruined your name there, in New York says, I'd love to know, how are the art schools in China? Do they more focus on technique or concept, and how was your experience there?
Yes, of course they do. I think
Do
China,
which did they focus on?
Of course, figurative, classical, traditional.
Oh, they do that. Okay, so not so much concept.
No, it's very different from here.
Yeah,
here has more freedom, obviously. But I think China is more like a Russian, you know, Russian like a what is it called, the Repin Academy?
Yes.
Yeah, it's like a very similar system, you know, based on the technique strongly, because in order to get in the school, you have to take exams, you know. It's not like here you submit a portfolio and that's it. But in there is different story. You have to take exams like drawing, painting, sketches, something like that in the like very short amount of time. Like for example, like you do a drawing for like 3 hours for half body with the hand drawing from the model, and it's so competitive because a lot of people doing it, so many people in China, you know. And
I've heard.
yeah, and it's good, but it's also not good, you know what I mean. Of course you have technique skills because you have to do it. Everyone want to go to our school have to train that way, otherwise you will never get in. That's the only way. There's no other way. But they're gonna have like a very how to say that, like you have to, a lot of people doing exactly the same thing, you know, in order to get in, because you know the school standard, like what kind of style you do gonna be more favored by this school, you know.
Yes.
In order to get there, it's not like, oh, the quality or your creativity is nothing to do with that. So a lot of people just trained in that way, you know, in order to get there. It's nothing related to art at all, actually. But also good for you is to have the strong skills. I think I really want that, you know. It's not like in here, people, most of the schools, they don't care about the skills at all. you know, they more like conceptual, they only care about ideas. For me, I think they're both equally important. It's not like, okay, the ideas is important, the creativity is important, okay, so the skill is not important. It's not, they're equally important. You need to have both. It doesn't mean, oh, okay, that is important, so that one is not important. It's not like that, you know.
Yep.
You don't want to do too extreme. Like in China, it's like that extreme, and this here is like this is extreme. I just want to be like, can you do the middle thing?
Very good. And
I want both.
and so all the way through the college, then, if I understand you correctly, all the way through your college training in China, it was the same kind of thing. It was more about trying to meet the standard that was set rather than express yourself creatively.
It's really bad. It's really bad because I remember it's just such a bad memory for me. Before the college, like when I was in high school, the last year in high school, so I didn't go to the school. I didn't study at all. I go to the Beijing, the capital, to learn their technique. You know, like there's certain way, there's certain style in order to get there, to get to the school I want to go. So it take like half a year training, intense training. It's just so bad. Maybe it's called preschool in here, but more extreme. Like people get there in order to get into the college, and they didn't do anything. They only drawing, painting every day. They didn't study. From like 9 to 9 every day. Only have 1 day break in a week.
996.
So bad, and it's very I think for the people who wanted to improve their technique, it's very useful because you're going to do like intense training exercise every day. Of course, you're going to be progressed very fast, but I don't know, you know, kind of sad. You don't have like very good solutions for that, you know, because in China have so many people. How to be fair to select the so-called talent people, you know. Have to have the standard.
And what do people do when they leave college and art school in China? What kind of work do they do?
I think for my experience, most of my friends are doing teachers.
Oh, okay.
Like, for example, like teaching in that preschool, helping people get in the college. Wow. Yeah, because before I did that, I was teaching in preschool too when I was in college. Yeah, I think that's the most people do, because easy way to get make money, you know, make living. But yeah, that's most people do as a teacher, or you teach in the high school or even the college, but still in a teaching job. It's teaching job. That's the most people doing there, and not too much people still pursuing like a professional artist
career.
Not too much. Some people they just change their they don't do art at all. They do something else. Yeah, because it's so hard, you know, being an artist in both US and there in China. It's just so hard to doing things and make a living from it, you know.
Yeah. Okay. Van also says, I also want to know about how a day of yours in the studio, what that looks like.
I have a very unhealthy schedule. I normally, you know, I wake up at noon, and I go to studio around like 3 to 4 p.m. and then I'm gonna stay there like until 11. So it's still a lot of time I can produce in there, and And always I get in the studio, I make a tea or any drink and see some like interesting shows. I'm gonna work, I'm gonna listen later on. And then I'm always gonna like oh, I have a very interesting hobby is that before I start painting, I always gonna look up some old masterpieces first. I have a lot of pictures in my iPad. I just randomly see it. You know, I just want to have that feelings. Does that make
Yes.
sense to me? I just want to catch that feeling. I don't know why. I just have that habit since when I'm so young. I'm always have that. I just want to have that connection.
Yeah.
It feels like maybe they gave me some energy. I don't know. So that's the one thing I do. I always look up. Okay, I'm ready. Okay, after that, okay, I'm ready to go.
Check in with the team. Okay. Ready.
Yeah, even my screen, my screen, it's the portrait of Van Dyke. So I can't avoid it. I just want to see it every day.
Yeah, lovely.
Just made me feel comfortable.
Vera Case again in Portugal says, how's your experience in New York been, the city, the academy, and your perspective about the art world?
I think I like New York. That's why I'm still here. You know, I think I like about here is everything is very open. You know, it's nothing you can't do. But in China, they have a certain way, especially in college. You know, for example, I remember when I back in China, when I was in college, the teacher asks you to do 2 paintings in 2 weeks, but I only do 1 because I want to do really well. So I need take more time. I don't have too much time to complete another one. So I need to do that one like really good quality. So I take a lot of time on that. And the teacher seems not very satisfied. The thing you are not listening, you know. I want to make you to do 2 paintings, you only do 1. So are you challenge me? You know what I mean? Like, are you challenge my authority? You didn't respect me as a teacher, you know. So at the end, I think he gave me a really bad grade, you know. And yeah, and here is more freedom, and there they require some certain style. Like the teacher always want you to be like very truthful to the reality, what you see from for example, you're doing a class, you're doing a model, you have to be exactly like the model, you know. Like 2 models together, they always criticize, oh, you put them too far away, they should be closer. You know what I mean? Something like that is like stupid suggestions. Or like, oh, the leg is too long, and you know, this kind of like critique is not really helpful. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that because they have people monitoring the output? You know, like, do they have someone above them going, hang on, your students are painting legs that are too long. What are you doing?
Yeah, maybe they're thinking that way. They think you're too soon to develop that. You know, you're in the fundamental level. You know, you need to, you know, do correct first, then to
right,
exaggerate or anything. You know what I mean? Yeah, it makes sense. It do make sense, but sometimes I just don't like it. I just don't like that kind of teaching style. I'm more like a freestyle. Do whatever I want. Yeah. So yeah, and that's a huge difference, you know.
So where sorry, go ahead.
Oh, so when I came in New York, I was like, oh, nothing I can't do. You know, before it's like, oh, I have to do this, otherwise this is not the fine art, this is something else. You know, I always have that strong boundary between a lot of things. I always limit myself. And when I came in here, I saw like, I see all the artwork outside and other students do, and I feel like, wow, this is totally different. There's so many possibilities, and I start trying to shift my ideas of perceiving the art, like, okay, I'm gonna be more open, and I'm gonna be experimenting more, and not put myself in the box, you know.
Yeah. Where did you study in New York?
New York Academy of Art.
Okay. And then how did you transition from that into having shows and selling your work and all that kind of thing?
I think the school helps a lot. They always help the students with selling works. They always have like some activities where they curate some shows in art fairs. So I think they already helping me when I was still in school.
Okay.
Yes, so it's kind of like a natural thing.
And do you plan on staying in New York? Are you kind of settled there now? Is that where you're going to live?
Yeah,
forever?
I plan for. Yeah. Next year I'm gonna apply my artist visa again.
Okay. So you're just on a bit by bit, kind of year by year visa.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Trying to stay as long as possible.
Right. Yeah. And are your parents with you?
No, they are back in China.
They're back in China. Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. Biljana Tesic, who sent me the correct pronunciation of her name. Thanks, Biljana in London, says to Deng, your surreal, psychologically expressive images are outstanding indeed. By using amazing universal clothing statements, often thought-provoking and captivating. I wonder, how is your unique and outstanding artistic language accepted in China?
I never know actually, because I was living China, like this is like 5 years, so it's hard to imagine, and I didn't check out what happened there, to be honest. I think quite similar. Because right now I think like China is more like US now, you know, like the art world. Before it's more like most of the work in China is like very figurative, very traditional, but right now it's not anymore, you know.
Yeah.
Even the school is still teaching that, but in like a general, like big world art world, it's a lot of like contemporary, like here.
Yeah.
So I think
I was about to say too.
You thought the same too, Alice?
I happen to so I'm from Shenzhen. Yeah. So we do have a pretty open like art scene, like whole I happen to go to see the artist studio. They actually like look at the American art a lot, and that's what is popular right now. And they've been telling me the traditional artwork actually is not selling really well, because that's not the except you are like super old master like calligraphy or Chinese watercolor. What in the middle is not really what they like selling for. If you go to the Beijing art fair or Shanghai art fair, that's what they're selling for.
Yeah,
they like cows, you know, they're like street art, they're like they're much more open than what Western country think of.
Exactly. Because right now, you know, internet, you know, they see everything, you know. So I like myself, like I'm totally, I feel like I'm not like a very I'm not like a very Chinese, you know, because I didn't know so much about Chinese culture, you know, because I was educated in a very Western way, you know, like I watched Disney when I was so young, not anything else. So I feel like I know a lot of American cultures, and like American, a lot of Chinese also like watch a lot of like American movies, Hollywood movies, and they're already like very universal, you know. There's not Chinese is Chinese like that, and certain stereotype is not like that anymore.
Yeah, that's changing, I think, from what I can, like in the last couple of weeks, there's been a lot of changes going on. I don't know if you've seen any of that. There sort of seemed to be, I don't know, a kind of a movement against that, the whole celebrity culture and
yeah.
just in the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. So to see how that unfolds. Jane Laycraft in Canada says, did you ever recover the painting that got lost when it was being shipped to the BP portrait competition? What a nightmare.
Oh, wow. I'm glad someone noticed. Yes, it did find out, but it's too late, It's like, what's the point? I ship there, you know what I mean? I ship there to be for the application. Then the application is closed, so what's the point? Just make the painting travel a round trip. I'm not even go to London yet, and the painting's already went there. And I'm so jealous of that painting, actually. so the painting is still there and not back in here, because they said, oh, you have to pay extra shipment to ship back. And I was like, hell no, I'm not going to do that. It's too expensive. I'm just okay, just leave there. I asked my friend Nancy. She's from London, so her mom just pick up the painting, so it's still hanging her house safely. Yeah.
Okay, so it wasn't lost for good.
It's lost in my heart already, so it doesn't exist.
You didn't like me.
I just pretend it never happened.
Okay. You didn't think of just keeping it till the next year and resubmitting it for that year?
No, I asked. They say no.
They said no?
Yeah, they said no, you can't. Because it's already been selected in the first round. So next year you shouldn't.
It has to be a new painting.
Yeah, it's like, no. I'm not gonna do it anymore. I'm more like a fate person. I feel like, okay, maybe that's not for me,
I know. Yeah, I'm the same.
It's not things for me.
Plus, it's BP, it's BP. It's all about petrol and oil. And it's not good for the planet. It's, it should be a different sponsor.
But later on, it's like COVID happens. Like, okay, like I'm gonna forget about
that. Yeah. It's a sign. Kathy Coe on Instagram says, I would love to know the story behind this image. And she's talking about your painting, the hug.
Oh, the hug. Okay. Oh, that one's my friend. They're the couple. So that one, I use the design. I use the design in her clothes to convey the image, what I see in them, like their love life, how I feel about them. And I make like the little cartoonish version in her clothes of like guys kind of like jealous, evil faces. And I feel like it's kind of fun for me to put like the secret message in the image to transfer that their love life.
Yeah. Dean Christensen on Patreon, thanks for the tea. Dean says, I love this podcast. I can't wait to listen! ! Nice one, Demo. Maybe he knows you. One question: can we get a time lapse of you painting, please?
My God. Actually, I did for my friend Aiden. He asked me to record a demonstration for like 3 to 4 hours. It was exhausting. I don't think I want to do that again. And also I feel like but if you want to see it, ask Aiden. Ask him, he has the video.
Okay, so does Dean know Aiden? Yes.
Oh,
do you know Dean?
I don't know if.
Okay. All right. Well, we can't ask Aiden then.
If he want to share, I highly doubt he want to share, actually. And I also think like since the camera is on, the camera is shooting you. It's just like a reality TV show, everything is so pretentious. You want to be normal, but you are not, And I feel like once the camera is on, you are fake, You're somewhat faking yourself. You are not natural yourself, I feel like when the camera is on and when I was painting, I felt like it's just not natural for me, If it's a demonstration, it's okay for me. But if it's like, okay, I'm when I was doing this project, we were recording, it's kind of weird. I feel like, okay, it might not, the result might not turn as it should be,
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's
a no. That's a hard no. Are you the same if there's somebody in your studio watching you? Does it become weird?
When I was in school, some people do. I don't care. Yeah.
Okay.
People watching, I don't care. But if they're recording, it's kind of weird. Like I'm a celebrity or something. No.
What's the last piece of art you bought?
I never bought any.
You never bought any?
Never. I'm poor as hell. I can't.
What about you, Hellas? What's the last piece of art you bought?
Let me think.
Oh, which means a lot.
No, I spend most of my thing on clothes. I buy a lot of vintage clothes.
Is that called art?
I think it's art. I mean,
okay. For costumes, maybe.
Yeah, exactly. I buy a lot of vintage clothes. One day I'm thinking I can paint it.
Oh
yeah, same. Like the artwork I like is too expensive, and I don't have a big house now, so I don't want to put a beautiful artwork in my crappy little place. Where's your? I don't deserve them right now. That's what I mean. I don't deserve them. Let me buy my vintage clothes.
That is so funny. But I do have the painting I really want, or not painting, like the artwork. If I'm super rich, I have my ideas. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
what are you gonna buy?
I really want a drawing of Anne. I really want Anne's drawing.
Who?
I saw Anne.
Hang.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I saw his work from Sotheby's. They sold the like old master drawings. I saw the drawings. I felt like, if I had chance, I'm gonna definitely buy it.
Oh,
so
nice. What do they sell for?
I just saw like auction.
Yeah, no, but how much did it sell for?
I think 20,000. Wait. 20, no, 200,000.
$200,000.
Yes.
Gee, that's a lot.
Yeah, but it's like for Anne, I feel like it's definitely worth it. Compared to other like contemporary artwork, it's like so expensive. And that is not expensive at all. And totally worth it to buy. It's classic. It's timeless.
Yeah.
And the quality is just so beautiful. It's so beautiful. Yeah, I just wish I can buy one like old master work, and so I can put my painting beside it, and to motivate myself.
Yeah.
Like how far I still have to go to achieve.
Yeah. Nice. Okay, if you're on a desert island, no one else around, just you, but you have all your food and you have all your shelter, so you don't have to make anything, meaning to take care of yourself. Oh, you got all your food, got all your shelter. Would you still make art, assuming you have the materials to make art with? would you make art if no one was going to see it?
Yes, definitely. Yeah. I always feel like I'm making art doesn't care about what other people are thinking, So it's definitely yes.
Okay. What about you, Alice?
I think that's a perfect scenario to paint. Naturally. Yeah.
I may do a lot of cartoons instead of oil paints.
What?
Okay. A lot of cartoons.
Yeah, I might do more drawings. Yeah.
Okay, good. So I like asking that question. It's interesting. If there was one underlying theme to all your work, what do you think it would be?
Underlying what?
Theme.
I don't quite.
就是如果你的每幅画里面有一个含义，就是中心的含义，你觉得是哪一个？就是所有的画里面。
I think it's critical. I always criticize stuff through my painting and make ironic sarcasm, but in a dark humor way.
Right.
I think that's a lot of people, a lot of painting in common in my work.
Say that last bit again.
I think that's the most common thing in my work.
Common.
Sarcasm, criticism.
Sarcasm. Okay. And what sort of things are you criticizing?
So many. I have one piece. It's like it's called No Happy Ending. It's after I lost the painting at that moment from the BP portrait work. So I create a big piece about that, and I criticize UPS so much. I hate UPS so much. I put like a whole panel, a panel about UPS. I put all the boxes buried, me burying so many boxes, and I put the receipt on. I put UPS on. I just want to people know.
Yeah, right. I've heard lots of people say the same thing about UPS and the BP Portrait Award. Apparently, there's a lovely company in England who do a great job. They'll get your stuff there on time. A lot of people who use them. Don't know the name of them. Somebody told me on one of the podcasts. I'll see if I can remember. If you're listening, I will put them on. I'll try and find them in the show notes. But yeah, apparently they're great and not too expensive either. And they get your painting to the door on time.
Yeah.
And not damaged.
And also, I think another painting also the ASMR painting, right? And I put like, you see the food on the table is actually not the food. I made up the food, right? It's not like a real food. It's, I made like animals, like I criticize about people eating animals.
Ah, okay. You don't eat animals?
Oh no, I do.
Oh, okay. Right.
I do,
yeah.
but like a I put like a crocodile, that kind of like
okay.
You know what I mean? Like people just the consuming culture, people just the desires are endless. They just, they want everything.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So what sort of price range are your paintings selling for at the moment?
I think it's mostly it's under 10,000. Most of my painting, unless it's like really really big, it's more expensive. But like normally it's just like $1,000. not
So,
expensive. Yeah.
So between 1,000 and 10,000 is the
Yes.
general pricing range.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Do you have a big art dream you'd like to achieve before you die?
Yes. Yes.
Great.
I
Tell
really
me.
want to do animation.
Oh, okay.
Before I die, yeah. Even though I'm doing a painting thing, yeah. But I really wanted to do when I have a chance, when I have money.
Yeah. What kind of animation? Do you want to do 2D animation or 3D animation?
3D.
2D. Okay. Yeah.
3D, I don't know, like it doesn't seem, because I like the lines, I like the lines. When you do 3Ds, the drawing quality of it just disappears,
Hmm.
and everything is so similar with the 3D model,
Yeah.
and I don't like the quality of that.
So would you like to do something that's all hand drawn, or, because a lot of 2D animation is drawn and then it goes into the computer, gets colored, all that sort of stuff.
I think you do need computer a little bit, but I wanted to remain the drawing texture of it, not like a single line, simply.
Yes.
Yeah, maybe because I'm like a fine art major, and I think in a different way.
Yeah. Is there have you seen the sort of animation, that you'd like to do, like where you look at it and go, yeah, I'd like to do something like that?
I remember I see a French cartoon movies. I don't know if you know that one. I'm gonna show it to you. I don't know what's that called in English.
I really like the animation movie, that the Ireland one about the sea, song the sea.
Mm-hmm.
That one's really nice too.
Yeah. And I realized in here, like in the US, a lot of people like Japanese anime.
Yeah.
They like that, and I'm not really a fan, to be honest. I never liked it. I don't know.
So,
Maybe the style they stylize the character is not my thing. It's not my aesthetic.
yeah, right.
How they stylize, like big eyes, like sharp face, and tall, like everything like so beautiful. Like I mean,
That Song of the Sea, that's an Irish one, is it, Alice?
Yeah. That
Yeah,
was
that's
really beautiful.
Yeah. I remember I saw that in a cinema.
You haven't seen it yet?
I
saw
might have.
that.
Is it old? How old is it?
So this one,
4 years.
do you know this
Okay.
one? It's a French movie. I don't know the name.
The Triplets of Belleville.
It's like
Triplet of Velvet. Look it up.
so it's like, that kind of style.
Show us again. Oh yeah.
You saw that?
I think so. Yeah, I know that kind of style. Yeah, kind of exaggerated style. Yeah. Oh yeah,
because
brilliant.
that company also did another movies about the magician.
Yes.
Same style. Yeah, I like it. I really like it.
Okay, great. Look forward to it.
I mean, it may not never happen. Just my dream.
Yeah. What's the biggest challenge you're facing at the moment as an artist?
Challenge? I think just be really truthful to what you do, not being influenced by the outside of the art market world, you know what I mean? And be really honest with yourself, and trust my own vision is really important for me. So I think that I have to maintain that, not being influenced by other things,
Yeah.
Because I sometimes I saw a lot of like Chinese very, very successful artists before their work is quite good, but when they became more and more successful and the marketing getting bigger and bigger and their work is getting worse and worse, you know. And that's what I'm scared of. Like, if it's in that case, I will never want to be famous. You know, I will never want to be successful. I just want my work be good work. You know.
Yeah.
Only depend because I'm no matter how expensive it sells, if the work I'm not satisfied, if the work I think is so shitty, I just feel like I'm lying to people. You know what I mean? I just feel like I just won't feel good, to be honest. I feel like I just trying to lie to people and selling stupid stuff and feel they're also stupid, you know? and that's the
selling
thing.
Stupid paintings to stupid people.
Mm-hmm. That's a lot of people do right now, you know? Yeah, and selling to stupid people with the stupid work and get the beautiful money. It's the best thing.
Get the beautiful money.
Yeah, sadly, that's how it goes right now. It's really sad, but that's the thing. I really aware. I really don't want to get in that track, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, when everyone is like quick, fast, and get on a speed and doing something like in a certain way, and I always like want to be slow it down and hold on for a second and think what I really want, you know, not think too much about what other people think, you know? Because you're your own boss. Life is so hard right now. It's like in other like, for example, in your daily life, you have to so many occasions you have to be fake, you have to be pretentious, you know. And if you're also lie to your artwork, it's gonna be so miserable, you know. I think the artwork is for me is a space, it's a place for me to be really honest about myself.
Yeah.
Does that make
sense?
That's
lovely. Yeah, that's lovely. Yeah. What kind of situations do you have to be fake and pretentious in, though, on your day-to-day life?
Like, if like, I don't like be social, you know, social to people, you know, like someone I don't know. I don't really want to talk because I don't know them. And if some occasion I have to talk to them, it's just so hard for me, you know, like I have to, I don't know what I say, what I should say, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I read a great book about that recently. It's called Captivate by Vanessa Van Edward. It's brilliant. It's for people who are awkward, like me. And she breaks it down scientifically. She's a self-confessed awkward person who has spent her life figuring out how to, you know, have little conversations and how to go to a party and really basic stuff. It's great. I highly recommend it. And it's listen to the audiobook. The book itself is a bit too much drawings and crafts and stuff, but yeah, the audiobook is great.
Yeah, I love audiobook. I never read, to be honest.
Yeah. Captivate. I can highly recommend that one to you.
Captivate.
for that stuff. Yeah. Now that's lovely what you're saying. And from talking to a lot of artists, particularly artists who've had long careers, they confirm what you're saying, that really to have a long, happy life as an artist, what you're saying is the way to do it, because some of them have tried they got distracted into the, by curators or gallery owners or whatever. Oh, can you give us a few more of those? They sold really well, and they've, gone down that road a little bit, and they didn't feel good to them. And by staying true to themselves, like you were just saying, that they that's what makes them happy.
Yeah, I feel like it's because right now the contemporary art world, a lot of people are like, oh, I'm gonna change the art history and so ambitious, and what I do gonna reshaping people's perspective of the art world. It's like, come on, you're just an artist, you know, you're just a painter, it's you do it's so limited, you know. Can you just start with the small things first, you know?
Yeah.
And for me, it just like, as a painter particular, what did you do most importantly? As for the painting, it's the quality, not idea at all, not idea at all. I think most important is the quality, the visual quality. Like when you see the work through your eyes, not through your ears, not through your mouth, you know. That's called visual art. That's why it's called visual art. It's not like mouth art or ear art. It's not called that, you know. So that's the most important. If you forget about that, it's like you're talking, like, okay, so you just talk then, you know. Sometimes I hear the artists are talking about their work, and I feel like, oh wow, it's so good, and I want to check out their works. And when I search the artworks, like, has nothing to do with what you're thinking, you know. It's like so different. Like, okay.
Yeah. How does that fit though with the thing of, it's happened to me a few times where you see a painting and you go, oh, I like that. Yeah, that's nice. And then you find out about the story behind the painting, and it just adds a lot to the painting. When I look back on the painting, then it's sort of, I just see it differently.
Yeah, I do. I think is a really good example as a successful artworks, you know, like it first visually attracts you, want you to know more about it, and when you know more about it, it adds up even more, make it more interesting. That's a really good example of it. It's not like, oh, you create a very good story, background story, and people doesn't see that at all, you know, like just two separate things, you know. And or you have like a really good technique, but nothing more.
Yes. Yeah, great. Okay, this is my last question. I ask this to everyone who comes on the podcast. If there's one thing you could pass on to future generations, what would it be?
Just be honest with yourself. Just trust what you do. Trust your instinct. That's the most important, you know, because everybody have their own specialties, you know, like some people are good at this, some people are good at that. Just explore yourself the most, you know. That's the most important for as an artist, at least, you know.
Brilliant. Very good. Very good answer. Very confident answer. I like it.
But you have to be confident as an artist. Otherwise, you're gonna be, oh, what do people think? Okay, I'm gonna change to this. I'm gonna, oh, now this is more popular. Okay, I'm gonna do this. Like, it's endless. So who you are, like.
That's great. Okay, well, where can people find you on the internet? What's your website address?
Just my name.
Okay, I better spell that for everyone.
I haven't updated my website for a really long time, actually.
You haven't? Hang on,
I haven't. Maybe you follow the Instagram, is more update, I think. Yeah.
Okay. Hang on a second.
I'm a lazy person, to be honest. Yes.
You think? Yeah, you don't sound like a lazy person to me, but okay.
Lazy in other things, but not lazy in art.
Yeah. Okay. Now, if you're all right, so the website is Deng's name, so it's DENGSHIQING.com, and then on Instagram it's DEMO. So 4 O's at the end. Demo with 4 O's at the end. But by the time you get to the third O, Instagram will have found her for you anyway. Okay, well, look, it's been great chatting with you. I think your art is fantastic. Really like it a lot. It's got all the best bits that, you know, what's going on in figurative painting at the moment. You know, it's like you're one of the artists that I think is kind of pointing the way or leading the way of where figurative art can go, because you bring this quality of mystery into your paintings, where you are kind of where I feel anyway, like I'm looking into and not so much another world, but another perspective. It is a little bit otherworldly, but it's a world I kind of recognize slightly, almost a little bit dreamlike, meaning like a dream I might have, not like the way people say, oh, it's dreamy, like romantic dreamy. It's more like a dream that I might have had, where everyone was a little bit strange. But yeah, they're so densely packed and layered, and your skill level is fantastic. So that's nice, because you're not tripping over anything. Like I am not tripping over anything when I'm watching. Sometimes you see a great idea, and then you get into the details. It's like, oh, okay, they can't really execute. So that's lovely that you do that as well. And it's been lovely chatting to you and hearing where you're coming from with it. And if you're listening, Demo has a very impish quality. Now, you might have to translate that for me, Hellas. I don't know. Do you understand what I mean? Impish?
Ambitious?
No, impish.
What does that mean?
I don't know what that means either.
Oh, okay. But you know what an imp is? Do you know what an imp is? No, it's like a little fairy creature who's a little bit bratty.
Oh,
a little bit naughty, but not in a bad way. Slightly mischievous, but in a friendly kind of way. What's that?
A lot of people say that to me when I was since I was a little, so it's not surprised.
Yeah, it doesn't come across in your voice. That's why I'm saying it to the people who are listening, because when you're thinking about your answer or something, you just get this little look in your eye of like mischief, and it's great. And I think that's what comes across in your paintings when you're talking about your sense of humor. It's like there is a mischievousness kind of comes across, where you're kind of not playing with the viewer in a cruel way. Some artists do that. They try and shock the viewer. They try and manipulate the viewer or whatever. It's more in a friendly kind of mischievous way, which is lovely. But just from watching you talk, it comes across, maybe if I ever get around to putting this up on YouTube, people will see what I'm talking about. But that's lovely as well.
Ugly faces. Oh, God.
What's that?
My ugly face.
Okay, if you're listening, Demo's face is not ugly. All right, she's being
I feel like the best thing being a painter is like you're not a performer. You're not doing like a piano. You're on the stage. Everybody's looking at you. The great things about doing this is like people might not see you. They just see your work instead, which is pretty good. I like it. I like work in the backstage.
Yeah. Okay.
Be mysterious. Yeah, be mysterious.
Mysterious. Okay. Yeah. Well, you are pretty mysterious online. There's very little. I couldn't do any research on you because there's none. There's a couple of artist statements that as usual, all the galleries or anyone who represents you, they just copy and paste, copy and paste. It's the same thing everywhere. So
yeah.
You're keeping the mystery thing going.
I'm not that famous, so it makes sense.
Well, you've got a huge response, like from the paintings I put up saying I was going to be chatting with you. I got, well, I'd say of like half the responses weren't questions. They were just like, yay, I love her work. She's fantastic. People were leaving comments just like, I don't have a question, but here's how brilliant I think she is. And they just go on, So I think within the art community, within the community that certainly listen to the podcast and who are interested in figurative work, you are famous.
Okay, I accept that.
All right, good. Okay, well, I keep in touch with everybody, so I'm sure we'll keep in touch for Zoom, tea, or whatever. You're always welcome to get in touch. But we'll say goodbye for now. I want to thank Hellas. Thanks very much for sitting in, Hellas.
Thank you for
welcome.
It was great. I felt like I was at the UN, or something very important, because I'd say something and then you'd kind of come in with this lovely voice in Chinese explaining. It's great.
It's just really helpful. Yeah.
I just did a little bit. I'm just happy to be here to listen to other perspective.
Oh, good.
It's really nice to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you as well.
That's great. Thank you. Thank you, Ellis. All right. So yeah, we'll keep in touch, but yeah, we'll say goodbye for now.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Bye.
Bye.
I've never felt this good in my entire life. Make me some spaghetti.
Actually, I'd prefer a cup of tea. A cup of tea would be lovely. So yeah, just a little reminder, mainly because every second or third person who becomes a patron has got in touch with me and said, you know what, I've been listening to your podcast for ages and I didn't become a patron, not because I don't have the money, not because I don't think it's great, I just didn't get around to it. So this is a little friendly reminder that if you'd like to be a patron, you'd like to buy me a cup of tea, go to patreon.com/John Dalton, gently does it, all one word, or follow the link in the show notes to become a patron. I would really appreciate it if you could do that, particularly if you've been meaning to and you just haven't got around to it. It would be great. It would mean a lot to me. All right. Thank you. Bye.
We are the Argyle Pimps, so buy us a drink. We're better than you thought, but not as good as we think. We are the Argyle Pimps, so buy us a drink. Come on, buy us a drink. Come on, buy us a drink. We are the Argyle Pimps, so buy us a drink. We're better than you thought, but not as good as we think. We are the Argyle